I'm Susie Young. I'm a double major in dance and theater. I'm a senior here. I got involved in theater when I was a freshman. I ended up going to what I thought was an interest meeting about theater. I did theater all throughout high school, and I went to what I thought was an interest meeting. It turned out to be an audition, and by accident ended up auditioning for Bridge to Terabithia. Ended up feeling incredibly supported and encouraged at that audition. Got a call back, came back, and had so much fun meeting the community of the theater department, meeting Ernie, meeting whoever was in charge at the time. Turned out to be these are people that turned out to be my friends for 4 years, and had a great audition process, and then ended up getting a great role, the lead role, and it was super fun. And from then on, after I established that the auditions were not scary and were very welcoming and inviting, I auditioned for pretty much anything and everything. Decided late that I wanted to be a theater senior, wanted to get my double major, and now I have about 10 or 11 shows under my belt, which is pretty incredible for Hollins. If you go to a bigger school, most shows and theater departments won't even let you participate in the theater until your junior, senior year after you've had numerous classes. But here you get involved right away, you jumpstart. It's the people who love and are dedicated to theater right away, and you kind of find your community almost like a home away from home really, really fast. And this is the community that opened its arms to me my first semester as a freshman, and I've just kind of stuck with it, and this is where my family here is on campus. Well, I've developed skills from the theater that you won't get anywhere else. I know how to talk in front of people. I know how to probably schedule better than anyone else on this campus, trying to balance rehearsals, 5-hour rehearsals every night with 22 credits, with a double major, with 2 theses going. I know how to time manage better because of the theater. I can definitely say I know how to be an ensemble, make it not all about yourself, and have a heightened awareness of the people around you and encouragement of the people around you, and that theater isn't all about the competition and the sport of it. It's also about forming an ensemble and a family that I think has influenced other art making in my life, such as the dance department. I'm really focused on community and art building through supportive friendships and one another and things like that, which I think is filtered in. For unsure students, do it anyway. Do it anyway. Come to the audition process. Realize it's not that scary, and that we are not out to shun people. We actually are really excited when we get people who aren't normally theater people who come into the theater and they're like, we're just really interested in this. We're like, wonderful. We can't wait to share our experiences and our community with you. We've had so many students who are not theater people come into the theater and change their major. It's kind of hard when you're this involved, and you kind of fall in love with this atmosphere and this family that's created. Some of the theater seniors aren't theater majors. People that have been here for 4 years and are graduating this year, taken a couple of classes and have been involved with every show that's ever been put on this stage since they came here, and are psychology majors and French majors, and I don't know, it's welcoming of all types and forms, and hopefully the family can be extended to people, and the notion of theater person can be extended to people who are not just majors and involved in this department, but everybody has the potential to be a theater person. Great. Oh, well, Chicago is exciting because it's probably one of the biggest shows that I've ever been involved with. It's got, I think, 30 people, 20 people just on set, and on the crew and the costumes, and the cast alone is just a huge number. It's the biggest collaboration that's ever happened between the dance department and the theater department. I am really excited because I play Velma Kelly, and the person who plays the opposite lead, Elaine Previs, is a freshman. So a senior and a freshman are working hand in hand, side by side, and I'm learning from her, she's learning from me, and it's almost more exciting to be a part of a process like that than it is to go out into the professional world and have people who kind of have settled into what they're doing and are doing it for the money when we're here doing it for the love of it. My part is Velma Kelly. She's the murderess of East Block, kind of the star of the Murderous Row. And she is kind of this strong character in the beginning that embodies all this partying and jazz and liquor, and, you know, all this like really fun 20s, like a really big air of the 20s. But there's so many socio-political contexts that are going along with her. And towards the end of the play, she makes this huge journey from being this strong, independent woman to being a very desperate, deprived individual that relies on show business to fulfill something in her that has not been fulfilled before. And there's lots of commentary on America and commenting on politics and social contexts, and it's just really an empowering and very exciting role to have all these different commentaries going on, which I think is probably my favorite part of that. And also I get to sing and dance and act, which is something that I love to do. My plans after graduating involve networking. I have a couple of friends in the business that are trying to get production companies started, and I plan on networking through them. There's also, Hollins goes to what's called SETC, the Southeastern Theater Conference, every year. And I plan on going with the Hollins students up there and auditioning next year for professional companies who, it's pretty much an open cattle call. You go, you audition, you submit your resume, your headshot, your experiences, your references, the whole shebang, and you audition in front of all of these companies that come in this huge conference. You take class. From there, hopefully I'll get a call back, and from there I'll jumpstart my career, I hope.
I'm Ernie Zulia. I am the chairman of the theater department here at Hollins and associate professor of theater. Well, Chicago is probably the perfect major musical to do at a women's college. The strongest roles in the show are all female, and we happen to have a phenomenal dance department as well as theater department, so it was a great opportunity to combine the strength of the talent that we have here on the campus. I would say that some of the challenges that Chicago brings are, number one, rehearsal. We have more rehearsal hours clocked in on this show than I think any other show we've done, and that's largely because there's so much choreography in the show that we didn't, for instance, have in a show like Into the Woods or Caroline or Change, which we've done in the past. This show is heavy, heavy dance, which means the rehearsal hours have to be extended. So that's been challenging, and trying to just schedule that amount of rehearsal is a real task. Also, I would say, because this show, it came around in 1975. That was the first production on Broadway, directed by Bob Fosse. Then it had a major revival about 10 years ago on Broadway. And then about 5 years ago, of course, the movie came out and won all the Oscars and was a pretty huge sensation. The movie and the play are very different. So I had to look at what the audience's expectations would be based on their knowledge of the movie, because I'm going to guess probably 85% of the audience that will come to see the show will have seen the movie, and maybe 15 or 20% have seen the Broadway revival. So I have to sort of step into the shoes of the audience and say, how can we present this script, which is fairly different from the movie script, in a way that will hook and engage an audience that has another image in mind. So we had to conceive a production that would be equally compelling but different from the movie. And that's been very challenging, but that's also the great thing about theater, is the more challenge that you have, the more exciting it becomes and the more satisfying the work is. Yeah, we've been very fortunate. We brought in Jessica Reddish, who is a New York choreographer, to work on the show. She comes as a friend of a couple of close colleagues of mine from Chicago, the city, and very, very highly recommended. And when I approached them about looking for someone who loved the show, understood the style of the show, and would work well with young women, They both instantly recommended Jessica, who's been in New York for quite a while now. She just came to us from working on this hit off-Broadway show, The Adding Machine, which was the critical sensation of the off-Broadway scene. Probably, I haven't seen reviews like that for a musical off-Broadway in 10 years. Really quite a phenomenon. And that was her last project, and she was very excited to come and do Chicago because she'd been wanting to do it for a long time. She studied with Anne Reinking, who of course was very closely associated with Bob Fosse. So it's been a wonderful marriage for Hollins to have Jessica here working with us. I first and foremost look for plays that are castable. Especially because we're an all-women's campus, and we do use guest artists to play some of the male roles in some of the shows. There are some shows, of course, that we will actually have women playing the male roles if it's appropriate to the style of the production. So that, to me, is an important consideration. Secondly, something that will challenge all of us, me, the designers, the technical staff. John Forsman is a technical wizard, so he loves projects that will allow him to create technology specifically for the show. We have a pneumatic slip stage that comes down from the up center position towards the audience that is not unlike something we've used in past productions, except he had to engineer it in a way that it could go twice as far as any pneumatic slip stage that we've ever used before. So that was a big challenge for him, and he loves that kind of work. So coming up with things that challenge us, and especially challenge the students, is a major criteria. And then finding things that I believe have some theatrical power and will satisfy an audience. And I have to look at satisfying an audience of college students, college women, as well as an audience of the rest of the Hollins community, which is faculty and staff, and then the greater community at large with the Roanoke community who come in large numbers to support the productions here. So finding properties that will excite people and make them glad that they left their dorm rooms, their homes, and came and sat in a big room with a lot of other people to experience something that would only happen this one time, Well, I had been working in professional theater for 30 years and directing around the country, and this was a brand new challenge for me to learn how to do theater in an academic setting, to learn how to teach theater, to learn how to work with college students rather than professionals. That challenge in itself was really exciting, to be given the chance to do something totally new based on stuff that I knew a lot about. So I loved when the opportunity came along. I came to Hollins as a guest artist, expecting to stay for 1 year. And as things unfolded, I'm now in my 5th year, and they got me running the joint. I don't know if they really know what I'm doing over here or not, but it's really exciting. And I love the students. I love working with people who are just formulating their artistic vision and their artistic direction, because it's so stimulating, and to watch people uncover new ideas and to latch on to something that they feel helps them express themselves is really gratifying. I think what surprised me is the number of students I get to work with who either never had anything to do with theater before in their lives, never knew they could do theater, never intended to do theater, and suddenly they find themselves in a place where they're doing theater. And we only have about 15 theater majors, but over the course of a year we'll probably engage 150 students. So that means all the rest are non-majors, and they're excited about the things that they can learn by doing theater. So that's been a wonderful, wonderful bit of news that I didn't expect when I first came out to be part of that. I really hope that a theater student walks away with a stronger sense of herself in the world, that she's been able to explore areas that she didn't know existed in her own spirit, in her own intellect, and that she leaves with a kind of confidence that, that can only come from taking on some of the challenges of theater, which involve, of course, standing center stage in a spotlight in front of 300 people, or standing backstage ready to ignite the technology that will make a moment on stage happen, and knowing that her timing for that moment is absolutely crucial, or being able to provide a lot of the analysis that will inspire her peers to do their jobs better. All those things that put them so in touch with who they are and what their potential is in life, whether they ever do another piece of theater again. So that's what I think is the real strength of a theater program, especially at a place like Hollins, where we don't have a huge number of Bachelor of Fine Arts students who are all pursuing the same thing. We have a large number of young women who are really preparing themselves to tackle the world and bring everything they can to it. Well, that's one of the things I love about doing live theater. You never know really what's around the next corner, and depending on what any given project might do, a new idea is ignited, a new branch is blossoming with something different on it. In the last 5 years, there's become a great deal of interest in the theater, and partly because we've been able to do some larger productions. We've been able to do large musicals and a big variety of productions. So there's been a tremendous amount of interest in the theater. There's talk of some renovations that would allow the facilities to be upgraded in a way that they haven't been in 50 years, really, and that's pretty exciting because the art department moved into new facilities across campus. The building that's adjacent to the stage, which was formerly the art department, has become a place for the theater program to expand and to do stuff that we were never able to do before, and to be able to rehearse 2 or 3 shows at the same time, to be able to teach classes that we didn't have the facilities to teach before. So by having facilities, we're able to do things and expand things to a point where the theater seems to be a rather important ingredient of the whole fabric of what Hollins is. That, you know, Virginia Tech has football. Well, Hollins has theater and dance and music in there to bring people together and to celebrate who we are.